Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Boku no Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 5. This one was pretty packed full of content. The pacing was amazing as always. It always impresses me every week how we can get through so much every single episode and still have nothing feel rushed. And I mean so much because there's always something happening. There's never a moment during the episode where I'm like, okay, this is kind of dragged out or we could speed this along. Everything is always really exciting at all times. It feels like there's pretty much no downtime, and even when there is, it's important to the series. This series is just becoming more and more of a masterpiece to me, I guess. I continually find that the faults that are normally in other anime I'm watching just aren't here, or they're completely flipped on their head. Either way, episode was great as always. I love that, again, starting from the very beginning, we have recap, but it's not like the normal recap you have in anime. It was sort of like a highlight of a big scene for the series, and it was just what happened at the end of last episode to lead into what's happening this episode. All very logical, going by, and a lot of things in this episode, I'm going to kind of bring up logic a lot. This is a very logical series here, with going all Aizawa on it. But starting at the beginning, kind of after the recap, Shigaraki is discussing his plan with Kurogiri and how he's not going to be there because they don't need him. He says that, even if the Vanguard Action Squad fails, the fact that they even showed up there will still send ripples through Hero Society, so they're kind of succeeding either way just by being there. But all 10 are strong, they're dependable companions, and the target is Bakugo. So I thought this is great because it shows great character development for Shigaraki growing as a villain, and not just that in kind of the simple sense, but not only what he brought up with how he was playing it a totally different way using game analogies, when he talked about himself changing, but now we see he's gone from, there's a bunch of scrubs and the plan is to take out All Might, to these are dependable companions, and we're going to go through this roundabout way to destroy All Might in much more of a figurative sense than before, to erode the symbol of peace, really. Going back to Izuku and what's going on at the actual camp, Izuku's planning to use Kota to stop the fire with his water quirk, which is very smart, and it was an amazing scene. I love the scene of just Izuku smiling, kneeling down, and asking for his help. Save me, or save us like you saved me just then. It was really, really good. I also like, again, the logic and planning ahead, where we see with Izuku's character, he's always thinking about things, where even during that entire fight, he's like, I can still run, that's why I saved my legs. So even through that entire fight, he never destroyed his legs because he knew he would probably have to run away at some point. So again, that's very, very good. Back to Aizawa and Dabi, I love how Aizawa just breaks his arms with no hesitation. He's like, this will happen, breaks one arm, okay, tell us what I need to know or I'll break the other. Again, extremely, extremely logical. But it turns out to just be a clone. Ida, Mineta, Kota, and Ojiro return to the camp, and Aizawa runs off. And I like this again for Aizawa's character. I said last season during my reviews, I like when we have those moments of Aizawa being a teacher, and I like these moments too, where he's normally sort of the I don't care about anything, really chill guy, but also caring about things in a really logical perspective. But I like when we see him go all kind of shonen-ish, where he's like, I'm going to protect my students and all that. I really enjoy that. We get to see Twice for the first time, and I thought the scene with Twice was really good. Twice is one of those characters where I didn't like him at first, but then over the course of the series, I grew to really, really like Twice. So I'm excited to see him debut here. From what we've seen, his quirk here, he can clone others, at least one, because we only saw one Dabi, and the clones he creates can use quirks. So it's in my opinion, way better than Ectoplasm's quirk, because Ectoplasm can use clones of himself, but Twice can use clones of other people that can use that person's quirk. So that seems to be way more OP in my opinion. It's like a combination of Ectoplasm and Monoma's quirks in a way, I guess. So that was really cool. I don't know if he can control. Again, I'm not going to get into any manga spoilers or anything. But even I don't even remember manga-wise. I don't know if he can control the clones or not. I would think maybe he can't. Maybe they were just watching on the clone for a distance because he knew when it was taken out. But I don't know if he was actually controlling it. It seems like it was just an alternate Dabi personality. And again, yes, I have read the manga, so don't post any spoilers. I just am not using manga logic in this. So since this is the anime and I'm not doing anything spoilery. And we learned there that, again, a bigger part of their plan, Dabi's job here, is that he's distracting the pros. He's keeping Aizawa and Vlad back at the camp to protect the students there. That's the general plan. Aizawa runs into Izuku in the forest. Izuku leaves Kota with him and goes to relay info to Mandalay. See, I like here, and I think a lot of people misunderstand this, where they get all pissed off and they're like, "Oh, that stupid dog, the stupid police. Why did they not get that they had to use their quirks to save people?" And it's because what they're saying, like what Ida said, is 1,000,000% true. Where he says, to use your quirk without a license is illegal because otherwise people would just be running around using their quirks all the time to hurt anybody that they thought was doing something that they didn't like. Like somebody does something you don't like and you say, "Oh, I'm just in using my quirk to beat the hell out of them." That's a very dangerous society to live in. Whereas if you have a hero license, they're like, okay, you're trained and have good enough judgment that if you do use your quirk on somebody, we really believe that they were committing a crime or that they're a villain or whatever, and they needed it. And that's the whole reason they have the licensure. So I like that Aizawa here gives them that, gives them permission to fight and says he'll take responsibility, because that's saying that if they were thinking before that, oh crap, we can't fight back or else we'll get in trouble because we're not licensed, now they have the ability to fight back. And if it's something that maybe isn't that good, Aizawa's just going to take responsibility. If something goes wrong, he's going to take responsibility, but they have to fight back or else things are going to go way worse. They're going to get taken out. So I like all of that. Izuku also brings up when he gets there that Kacchan is a target. I loved Magne and Spinner throughout this episode. They were both really, really good. Like, both in different ways. I love Magne's deduction. That was really awesome. And just her figuring out, like, not only, okay, there's only two that are a big flashy power battle, and would the other one be Dabi or would it be Moonfish, I wonder? Because Dabi, you'd think flames and stuff, that's kind of a big flashy fight power, and Moonfish seems to be really strong with those blade teeth things because they're fighting against Bakugo and Todoroki right now, and they look pretty dominant in a way. But either way, back to Magne. But not only thinking of that, but also thinking, okay, we should probably kill him right now because he's got that information that he's leaking, and he's a real threat. So Magne was really, really cool in that regard, and just fighting against Tiger, that was really well animated and cool looking. But in addition to that, Spinner saving Izuku. Spinner is a character I absolutely love, just because it's like, Stain was a cool character, and Spinner's entire thing is trying to be a miniature Stain, so I love that. The way Spinner is just Stain, except not as cool. He saves Izuku, except in not as cool of a way. But they're like, no, it doesn't matter what Shigaraki's orders are. Stain wanted to save him and viewed him as a true hero, so he gets to live. So we see that Spinner, at least, is willing to disobey Shigaraki's orders if it means following Stain's creed. So Spinner kept his ideals. That was all great. What was next? Oh, yeah, I love when Mandalay is using telepath and saying, okay, you can fight and all that. We have so many hints as to fights with villains and stuff like that, and so many hints as to what are going on, because we see Tokoyami then too. So there's a lot of hints and just those quick flashes around to the different characters that we can see. So that was all really cool. I love that while Magne and Spinner were arguing, the heroes didn't just leave them to argue, they hit them while they were arguing. Again, that's logical, not just standing around while the enemy's talking and actually getting a hit in. So I really liked that, again being logical. The scene with Aizawa and Kota was really great. Moonfish's blade teeth, the animation with that looked really, really awesome. And we learned that Moonfish is an experienced fighter, Todoroki can tell, because of the way they're moving around and using their quirk and the blades to move themselves while they're also launching attacks. Plus, we know from the little box that showed up at the bottom that they're an escaped death row inmate, so they're pretty serious. Not all sure what their list of crimes would be, but it's pretty serious. Todoroki mentions the reason that they can't use flames. I don't know if he meant it in this way, but I believe, at least in the manga, it was clarified, again, not spoiling anything, just from the scene. I think it was more clarified that they didn't know if the gas was flammable, if they tried to use flames or an explosion, if it would all go up in flames. But another reason that I know you can glean from what Todoroki said was, hey Bakugo, remember, we can't use anything that'll set the forest on fire, because if so, we're just going to trap ourselves, and if there's anybody else around here, we're probably going to trap them too. So I like that way. It really constrains what Bakugo and Todoroki are able to do, because they're like, we can't use flames in a forest. So just the sort of field of play not going to their advantage here. Anything else? Next up we get to Kendo and Tetsutetsu. Kendo figures out how the gas works and all. The mustard fight was really cool. I like that, again, he didn't have infinite ammo pistol. He actually had to reload in the midst of it. So that was all really cool. Kendo's hand quirk always looks really weird to me, but Kendo's still a cool character. The final punch was awesome. I was expecting a bit more, to be honest, but maybe that's just me being selfish, because I remember in the manga that final punch just being so freaking good, and it was really, really good here. But I don't know, maybe I was expecting more. So now we have two villains down, one taken down by Tetsutetsu and one by Izuku. Then at the end of the episode, an injured Shoji saves Izuku, so we learn where that missing hand came from. And when the villain, being Moonfish, showed up and they had to do all of what they were doing, that forced Tokiyami to activate his quirk, or his quirk to activate, or whatever. And once it was activated, Dark Shadow went out of control because it's nighttime. So, it was an amazing episode. That's where we end. There was a ton of content. It was super logical, as I said a bunch. The villains and heroes both got a lot of cool development, and they were both really great and fun to watch. Especially just the early development for these villain characters, I think, is really, really good. And there's still tons left to be hyped about for the next episode or two, or even more. I don't know how long it's going to be. I would say at least 2 or 3 episodes, because we saw, with those flashes, some of the things we saw in Mandalay's, like what was happening when she was using telepath. We saw Bakugo, Todoroki, and I don't know if Tsuburaba is going to be down the whole time or if he's going to get up eventually. We have them facing off with Moonfish. We have Izuku and Shoji now face to face with Dark Shadow and trying to figure out what to do with that. Uraraka and Tsuyu were faced off with Toga, we saw, and I think in one scene Uraraka was holding her arm, so maybe she's already been hurt. So we have that again happening. We have Yaoyorozu and Awase, and we saw this shadow of a villain that they were like facing off with, or either it was behind them or something. So we have that going on, whatever villain that is. We have Twice and Dabi, who are both still up. And we have Spinner and Magne, who I don't know if they're necessarily down or not. They've definitely been hit pretty hard at least once. Mandalay hit that super kick. And that leaves one more villain that we haven't even seen yet, not including mystery shadow of whatever's with Yaoyorozu. So yeah, all that was great. The Kendo and Tetsutetsu stuff was really, really awesome. I did expect a little bit more of it because I loved it in the manga. But it has been a long time I read, and either way it was still very good. And throughout the episode, as for giving the emotional side of things, I got chills a couple of times. That Izuku scene with Kota was really good. I got chills when Mandalay was giving them permission to fight and we're jumping around to all this different serious stuff going on. It was like a big triumphant moment. There were a lot of times where it did bring that cool emotion. So as a score, I'm going to give it nearly perfect just because it was so damn good to be just a single episode of a show. And not even like one of the big episodes. One of the, I guess, less big ones, but still really freaking, it was so good. 9.75, something. 9.75 blade teeth out of 10. That wasn't what I planned to say. But either way, 9.75 out of 10. I thought it was great. I hope you enjoyed the video and the episode. So I guess if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this episode and what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more. Boku no Hero Academia, much more on the channel. Lots of other anime, manga, light novels, and more. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us there, then just ask and I can give you a link to it. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.